I see someone trying to do this in the back, so I think we'll get started here. I'm Dave Hoover and represent the trustees today at this great occasion. I want to welcome everyone and thank you all for attending. And to begin with, special thanks, Judson, to you and to Joyce for making this all possible. It's just a wonderful place, and even without a lot of sunshine, it's such a nice light place, I think, and a beautiful place. Those of us who saw it before this understand well what has happened here. It's a real transformation. We also want to welcome and thank the firms that designed and constructed the building: CSO Architects, F&G Engineers, Lynch Harrison and Broomleaf, Purcell, Knopp and Associates, and Shield Sexton Company. And these folks that are up here in front are going to visit with you in due course. You've met Joyce and Judson, and you'll meet the rest in a little bit. And one of these people you probably already know, at least one of them. You know, the future of the School of Music is very bright, and we're excited about the potential and the prospects of an even stronger program with the addition of this new facility. Judson and Joyce have invested in our nationally known School of Music, which benefits the entire DePauw community. Now I'd like to introduce Caroline Jetton, Dean of the School of Music and Associate Professor of Music. Caroline?
As Dean of the DePauw University School of Music, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this dedication and celebration of our new facility, the Judson and Joyce Green Center for the Performing Arts. We are thrilled to have opened our 123rd season in this new building. You may wonder how the School of Music made it to this point. Well, in 1881, formal music instruction was offered for the first time at DePauw University, formerly Indiana Asbury University. The School of Music was then officially founded in 1884 and is one of the oldest private institutions for post-secondary music instruction in the United States. Due to high enrollment, the School of Music moved into Music Hall, a three-storied, ivy-covered brick structure, where it remained until 1976. The School of Music then relocated to the Performing Arts Center, a modern brick complex that also housed the Department of Communication and Theater. This summer, we moved into our third home of the School of Music, this wonderful new state-of-the-art facility, the Judson and Joyce Green Center for the Performing Arts, in which you are now seated or standing. This beautiful climate and temperature-controlled structure contains 28 practice rooms, 32 faculty offices and studios, 4 new rehearsal and performance spaces with adjustable acoustics, classrooms, a 2-story music library, the Musical Instructional Technology Center, a recording studio, a coffee shop, an information commons, and a great hall that also serves as a lobby for our 2 large performance venues. Part of the old Performing Arts Center has been retained and renovated and has been incorporated into this new structure. The areas retained from the Performing Arts Center are our performance venues, Kresge Auditorium, Moore Theater, and Thompson Recital Hall, as well as 2 classrooms and the Bell Carillon Tower. So, what does this new facility mean to the School of Music? It means that we have a bright, open, comfortable, inviting space in which to learn, practice, study, teach, and work. We are thankful to have a healthy building that is kind to our wooden instruments and to our bodies. It is a space that lures others in for a visit, whether it is to purchase a smoothie from the coffee shop, sit in the nice and comfy chairs, or enjoy a recital or concert. In addition, this facility is one that dazzles prospective students and their parents. I cannot help but notice how considerably the university has changed since I began my tenure here in 1996. We have several new and renovated buildings on campus: the Julian Math and Science Center, Peeler Art Center, the Emerson Museum of Art, duplexes for student housing, Rector Village, the Student Union Building, and the list goes on. Even this summer, there was a surge of construction with renovations in East College, Harrison Hall, admissions, dormitories, etc. It is wonderful to be included in this building and renovation process that the university has undertaken, because our inclusion is a clear indication to us in the School of Music that we are a valued part of the university. As you can imagine, that is a fantastic feeling. Words cannot express how grateful we are to Judson and Joyce Green for their tremendous generosity that made this building a reality. Again, I welcome you tonight as we dedicate this facility and hope that you will take the opportunity to tour this new space, a space in which we are fortunate to learn, teach, work, and perform in every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Now I'd like to introduce Corinne Webb of the class of 2009, who is a music performance and psychology major. Corinne?
As a student, it has been very exciting to see this Performing Arts Center come to fruition. 2 years ago, this building was simply introduced to students as an idea. We have watched with great anticipation as the large hole in the ground was gradually replaced by this impressive green center for the performing arts that we now have the privilege of using daily. As students utilizing this space, we are grateful for the advantages that a state-of-the-art facility provides for us. We appreciate the fact that this is a facility that many other very fine colleges and universities across the country would love to be able to provide for their students. It has also been great to watch faculty excited about the new teaching resources that this building offers. Between the new music library, the recording studio, the rehearsal rooms, the practice rooms, and the new performance spaces, this building provides both students and faculty the resources to maximize fine arts learning opportunities at DePauw. While those of us here at DePauw experience the value of this building on a daily basis, there is no doubt that this investment will pay huge dividends for attracting some of the most promising young students from around the country. First impressions can be very powerful, and prospective students who come to DePauw walk around this magnificent building and this beautiful campus will be able to envision themselves enjoying the DePauw experience. Coming from Minnesota and not being familiar with DePauw, on my first visit to campus, I was impressed with DePauw's staff, students, programs, and facilities. 4 years later, I continue to be more impressed as a student by DePauw's passion, vision, and commitment to excellence. There is an exciting wow factor with this building. The impressive glass rotundas welcoming everyone into the building, the design and construction attention to detail in the tiling and woodwork, the new additions like a recording studio and the superb ensemble rehearsal facilities, the way the interior spaces are laid out, and the way the exterior impacts the campus, and the view from the music library that looks majestically over East College are all aspects of the building to which I, and I'm sure many others, have under their breath simply uttered, wow. As every student of the fine arts knows, this building can become a home away from home. The Judson and Joyce Green Center for the Performing Arts provides a welcoming meeting grounds for the exchange of ideas, which is essential to fostering artistic growth. Looking at what the Greens have invested inevitably encourages current students to ask themselves what their own roles will look like in supporting future generations. On behalf of the student body, I would like to express my gratitude to all involved in the project, from the Greens and other donors, to the administrators, to the design and construction team. The time and energy you have invested in this renovation is greatly appreciated by all students, faculty, and community members alike, and will be for decades to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne. Now I would like to take about 30 minutes to introduce our president, Robert Bottoms. But I won't.
To get to know DePauw University is truly to get to know a lot of very, very fine people. This afternoon we gathered to thank two of them. When I think of my time at DePauw, I truly do think of Judson and Joyce Green and how their lives have become so intertwined with the success of this institution. 2 weeks ago, we hosted DePauw Discourse. It was a program that was begun by Joyce Green. That would be the same Joyce Green who hosted DePauw Discourse and has served as the chair of the Washington C. DePauw Society. But Joyce's dedication to DePauw has gone far beyond the interactions with the university here in Greencastle. On many occasions, with great style, Joyce has hosted DePauw gatherings in their home in Orlando, as well as their lovely condominium in Chicago. Similarly, getting to know Judson has been a pleasure. Everybody here knows of Judson's success in business, first as Chief Financial Officer at Disney, as President of Walt Disney Attractions, and then as President and CEO of NAVTAC. Most people in this room know that just a few days ago, NAVTAC was sold to Nokia. And there, on one of my travels, I opened the New York Times business section, and there was Judson's picture. He was smiling as usual, casually dressed as usual. You don't know how honored we are that you dressed up today, Judson. And I thought, this young man from Quincy, Illinois has had quite a successful career. Judson has been kind enough to share his time and his intellect with DePauw. In his time as chair of the Board of Trustees, Judson was more than chair. He was an excellent teacher for so many of us. From Judson, we learned about vision statements. We learned how to creatively name academic programs like our 361-degree technology enterprise. Once we even asked Judson to be the commencement speaker. And I remind our commencement committee of this every year, as they are pleased to be able to select a commencement speaker, and sometimes it doesn't turn out so well. Judson turned out great, but there was some turmoil around his speech. At a very late date, the speaker, Maya Angelou, called and canceled. I convinced Judson that we would love to have him, only to have our writers at the DePauw newspaper say, "Who is Judson Green and why is he coming?" I thought, all of my skill to convince Judson we really would like to have him, and those of us who heard his speech, remember it was not only a fine speech, but it was begun in a very creative way with him quizzing a Labrador retriever on the stage about whether he should go on with the speech, when he knew some people had not invited him to come. But all lightness aside, when you look at the lives of Judson and Joyce Green, you realize there really are stories behind the story. They both love music. They've celebrated many times the fact that they met here in the School of Music at DePauw. And for both of them, the music school has remained one of their interests in their adult life. And now, thanks to their generosity, this building has become a very special place. It will host concerts, recitals, theater productions, galas on Alumni Reunion Weekend, and outstanding speakers and performances in Kresge Auditorium. We would not have this splendid facility without the Greens. A few months ago, the trustees gave me a surprise celebrating 20 years that I've served as president of DePauw. And on that occasion, Judson wrote a poem. It contained the following lines describing the president of the university. His infamous and trademarked fundraising line is, "Let's go for a walk." As many of us on the board can attest, we now have blisters. Can't we just talk? Well, Judson and Joyce and I did, in fact, go for a walk. Actually, we went for 2 walks. The first was when they informed me of their willingness to give $10 million to the School of Music. That was a delightful first walk. Followed by a second walk, when I had to explain that what we really needed was $15 million for the School of Music. Because of them, we have this fine facility. They are very special people. They've made this a very special place. They are outstanding members of a proud DePauw family. And Joyce and Judson, we appreciate all you have done for this great place.
Thank you, President Bottoms, and thank you to all of the friends, alumni, faculty, and students who have joined us here this afternoon. We're delighted to be here with you for this dedication. We're just as thrilled as you are. We'd also like to welcome and thank several family members who have joined us. Our son, Jamie, and daughter, Julie, both of whom have included music in their lives as students and continue to find it interwoven in their adult lives. Julie's husband, our son-in-law, Joe Kaiser, couldn't be with us today as he's a tenor currently performing this fall in 2 different opera productions at the Metropolitan Opera in New York. And our 2 grandsons, Jackson and Jacob, are in Chicago probably watching the video of The Sound of Music for the 63rd time. We also have my mother here, Alice Edelmeyer Taglauer. She is a DePauw alum. I won't tell her graduation year. She said she doesn't care. Class of 38. And I have my 2 sisters here, Lois Wilson, who is not a DePauw alum, I'm sorry, and Gretchen Kravosha, class of 78. They're right over here. Finally, we welcome longtime friends and nearly family members, Peggy and Roger Branson, who came from Orlando to join us. Thank you.
As you all know, this building will be the home of our School of Music and the Department of Communications and Theater. Although we are celebrating today the official opening of the Green Center, we anxiously await the completion of Phase 2 next spring, at which time the section housing the Communications and Theater Department will be completed, and the infamous Walker Pond is once again established in front of this building. As a side note, 3 weeks ago during the DePauw Discourse on the Environment and Sustainability, we learned that one of our environmental panelists, a DePauw alum, actually went scuba diving in Walker Pond during his DePauw days to determine what faculty, students, or musical instruments might be laying at its bottom. Many interesting things were found, but alas, nothing in these 3 categories.
As we stand here today, we are quite humbled by the fact that the performing arts have existed here at DePauw for 123 years. In fact, as we reflect upon this, the performing arts have been and continue to be a defining element of the DePauw experience. Of the top 50 liberal arts schools in the country, of which we are one, the administration believes we are the only school to have a formal School of Music awarding degrees in Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Musical Education, and Bachelor of Musical Arts. Said another way, without the music school, DePauw University would simply be DePauw College, which doesn't seem to have the same ring to it. What we believe is truly unique about the performing arts at DePauw is the ease with which our students can choose to participate in our ensembles and performances, regardless of whether they are majoring in music, biology, or economics. Although we may take this for granted, it's not how most of the universities are organized or operated these days.
There is clearly a place for the performing arts in a university context. The experience of performing provides a spirit of camaraderie and teamwork if it's an ensemble performance, and the necessary mental discipline and courage if it's a solo performance. It provides a sense of being part of something greater than what any one individual can attempt or achieve. It provides a respect for the artistic talents of others. It provides a feeling of accomplishment from the hard work required to master the technical and empathetic challenges of the work being performed. And it provides the sheer joy and delight from creating something that can have a magical impact on others. As John F. Kennedy once said, "The life of the arts, far from being an interruption or a distraction in our lives, is very close to the center of a nation's purpose, and it is the test of the quality of a nation's civilization."
It has not been uncommon for DePauw students to change majors and their life's direction more than once during their stay here in Greencastle. For young people passionate in the performing arts, it's a weighty decision whether the performing arts should become a vocation or an avocation. And DePauw has always been open and nurturing to this life decision. Although the performing arts are not typically defined as an element of a liberal arts education, although they probably should be, the performing arts can be a rich and essential element of a life well lived. As Plato once said, musical training is more potent than any other, as rhythm and harmony find their way into the inward places of the soul. As we see students milling about the center and hear them on stage, we should be well aware that some will go on to live distinguished lives as professional artists, and some will allow the performing arts to become an integral and meaningful part of who they are as individuals.
We further hope that this center will be inviting to each and every DePauw student, even if just to read or study within its walls. It is quite possible that exposure to what goes on in this building just may draw someone in and potentially become a defining moment in a life, a symphonic performance, a play, perhaps a class on music literature. Over the course of our lives, we have had countless people lament that they did not continue music lessons as their parents had encouraged, or that they wish they had invested more time in performing or acting. DePauw represents a community and an environment where the arts are accessible and approachable, and we hope that each and every DePauw student takes advantage of it. We want to thank the university for allowing us to participate in and make suggestions to the design of this building. Whether it's the 4 rotundas, which we dubbed Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, and Goldilocks, or the Fibonacci sequence embedded in the north glass wall, or the recording studio, which will allow our students to record and refine their performances, or the Great Hall itself, suitable to hold gatherings such as we have today, we had great fun in making Neil Abrams and architect Dan Moriarty's lives more complicated. We also want to thank the many faculty who touched and shaped our lives in profound ways more than 30 years ago, including Don White, John Sachs, Mary Heller, the Karkeeks, the Grubbs, and many, many more. We thank each and every one of them for sharing with us their competencies and passions for the performing arts. In closing, Joyce and I have found countless times over our lives that music and the performing arts are truly unique in their ability to bring together and establish emotional connections among diverse people, regardless of generation. Thus, we are honored to be connected with all of you here today and hope that the joy and celebration of music and the performing arts endure not only here at DePauw, but wherever your life journeys take you. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Not really choked up, I just can't talk. Thank you so much again, Judson and Joyce. This is a great day, and we really appreciate it. And also to Corinne and excuse me, and Caroline, and to President Bottoms. A little bit of business. We have right over here students and faculty ready to conduct tours of this nice facility, and they'll go at about 15-minute intervals. So hopefully everyone will get a chance to get a walk through and see all there is to see here. And I want to remind you also that the doors to the Kresge Auditorium will open at 7:30. Until then, we're going to have a nice reception and a good time. Thank you all for coming to this great event, and let's have a really good evening.